Welcome back to AI Verdict, where you know the drill. We do the research, so you don't have to. Today, we're bringing you a full explainer on a topic that literally has the entire tech world buzzing right now, xAI's Grok 5. There's just so much noise out there, and if you've been trying to figure out what Grok 5 actually is versus what the internet wants it to be, you've probably walked away way more confused than when you started. But that ends right now. We're going to separate the marketing hype from the technical reality, looking at the real picture straight from the actual documents. Okay, let's dive right into this. Because right now, everyone keeps arguing about Grok 5's release date and its supposed 6 trillion parameters. It's this massive internet rumor that has practically become gospel on social media. People are out there debating these numbers as if they're hard facts chiseled into stone by Elon Musk's engineering team, expecting this absolutely gargantuan monolith of a model to drop at any second. But reality check time. Almost all of the speculation is entirely wrong. People are quoting a translated write-up of a November 2025 Barron Capital interview as if it's an official spec sheet. Actually, scratch that. It's not an official xAI document at all. We really need to treat these numbers merely as a scenario anchor, not a verified fact. In this explainer, we're strictly looking at what we know from verifiable releases, model cards, and actual engineering trends. So, to give you a clear roadmap of how we're going to unpack this, here is our agenda. We'll start with the reality of Grok today, then look at why Grok 5 is delayed, check out the architecture and competitive landscape, dive into the compute and data moat, break down the layered business strategy, and finally look at regulation and launch risks. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the reality of Grok today. So, the crucial point is this. Before we can predict Grok 5, we have to understand the present. Right now, xAI's current flagship API model is Grok 4.3. This is what they've actually shipped. It features a massive 1 million token context window, highly configurable reasoning capabilities, advanced image understanding, and crucially, pricing that genuinely undercuts a big chunk of the frontier market. That is a seriously capable baseline. But here's the part most people completely miss. The model itself is almost the boring bit. xAI isn't really just saying, hey, we built a better chatbot. Instead, they're building an entire AI operating layer. It's like a giant puzzle where they take that core model and wrap it in powerful tools like web search, code execution, and document retrieval. Then they add separate APIs for voice, image, and video, which leads to applications, enterprise vaults, and government deployments. Every single Grok 5 prediction that ignores this full stack is totally missing the point. Moving right along to Section 2, why Grok 5 is delayed. Well, let's address the elephant in the room. It's mid-2026, and Grok 5 still isn't formally public. Elon initially stated it would ship before the end of 2025, and that translated interview pushed it to Q1 2026. But look at this timeline. And this brilliantly illustrates that xAI has moved at an absurdly fast pace, from Grok 1.5 in March 2024 all the way to Grok 4.1 in November 2025. They've consistently pushed out major updates at a speed that's almost unheard of in the frontier AI space. So what does this all mean? The delay is actually a massive signal. They haven't just stalled on training. They've kept shipping everything except a public 5.0. They're taking the time to deliberately build out the platform, releasing business tiers, enterprise connectors, agentic products, and a highly stable 4.3 default. They are hardening that operating layer before they officially stamp a 5 on the box. Which brings us to Section 3, architecture and competitive landscape. The sober truth here? Grok 5's architecture is completely undocumented by xAI. The last open architecture we got was Grok 1, which was a 314 billion parameter mixture of experts or MOE model. Because the whole industry has shifted toward MOE for efficiency, Grok 5 is highly likely to be a large, multimodal family of models rather than one single giant monolith. We're talking a reasoning flagship, fast variants, and deeper agent modes. The real engineering focus is going to be on context length, tool reliability, latency, and cost, rather than just raw parameter counts. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing the brutal room Grok 5 is walking into. It has to compete with OpenAI's GPT 5.5 on coding, Anthropic's Claude Opus 4 on enterprise reliability, Meta's Llama 4 on open weights, Google's Gemini 3.0 on tool grounding, and DeepSeek on pure price disruption. Grok's clearest advantages: cheaper API pricing, highly compatible SDKs, and its unique real-time social awareness through X integration. But for sure, its biggest weakness remains enterprise trust, because businesses buy reliability and governance over just raw intelligence. Okay, let's jump into Section 4, the compute and data moat. This is where the story gets genuinely fascinating. 200,000. That is the massive number of GPUs xAI's Colossus compute engine has hit. And it just keeps scaling across H100, H200, and GB200 systems, with a path toward over 1 million H100 equivalents. Keep in mind, Grok 4 already trained on that 200,000 GPU cluster. Training on infrastructure that almost no one else can match gives Grok a massive edge, but the data side reinforces it. Grok utilizes public internet data, third-party data, and verifiable internally generated data. Combine that with the live information surface of X, and you get an unmatched scale and real-time retrieval edge that's absolutely crucial. It's not just a bigger pile of scraped tokens. Next up, Section 5, the layered business strategy. So xAI is no longer just selling an AI assistant. They're selling a layered business model across multiple sectors. You've got consumer subscriptions like Super Grok, API usage tiers, Grok Business priced at $30 per seat per month, highly secure enterprise vaults, government deals, and new agentic products like Grok Build. If Grok 5 launches, expect them to monetize it everywhere all at once. And for the developers tuning into this explainer, you're going to love this. xAI made a quietly brilliant move. Their REST API and real-time voice APIs are perfectly OpenAI-compatible. This is a total switching cost demolition. If you're already building with OpenAI-style tooling, testing Grok isn't some massive code rewrite. It's literally just a quick configuration change. It's so easy. Let's move to and see how this builds into our final section, Section 6, Regulation and Launch Risks. If you only pay attention to benchmark wars, you're missing Grok's hardest hurdle, real-world deployment friction. We're going to impartially list these objective business risks based strictly on the source material. Grok was banned in Turkey over offensive content, blocked in Indonesia over pornography, faced scrutiny from Reuters regarding sexualized image generation, and lost a bid to pause California's AI data disclosure law. Grok 5 is launching into a live test of whether xAI can actually control a model this powerful. Now, neutrally speaking, xAI does possess and publish safety documentation. They have public model cards, a safety page, and draft frameworks covering dual-use weapons risk mitigation. They use input and output filters and even circuit breakers. So the open question really isn't whether they know these risks exist. It's whether their real-world safeguards can evolve as fast as their raw capabilities do. So how do you separate a real Grok 5 release from just another hype release? Well, use this tangible 5-point checklist. 1. Look for a real model card on day 1. 2. Credible deep research and coding demos. 3. Honest pricing that includes the total tool use cost. 4. Materially better moderation. And 5. A crystal clear explanation of what is actually new compared to version 4.3. If you see those 5 things, it's a real launch. If not, you're just watching marketing. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. Will Grok 5 be a massive agentic platform jump that disrupts the entire industry, or just another chatbot hype cycle? If they nail the pricing, the tools, the X integrations, and the safety all at once, it could change everything. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer to dig into the reality behind all these rumors. I would love to know where you land on this. Do you think xAI will deliver the goods?